Hey everyone, welcome back to yet again another art talk video. I've decided to do another one because I was actually really looking forward to doing a video on Rebel 7 today, as it was meant to come out. Unfortunately, I believe the team is having some release issues, and there's some information that is going to come out a little bit later, so I decided why not take the opportunity to do an art talk again, as I have some cool footage recorded of me drawing my new profile picture for the channel, because I know I just changed it, but I've already decided to make something cooler. Anyway, today's topic, an important one. As always, they're always important. I try to make them at least. And that's art block / burnout. I think, first of all, to say, I think it is pretty much the same thing, these two. They are, whenever you feel like you can't go further, where you've done a little bit too much work, let's say, you start to burn out. And you start to wonder, hey, what am I supposed to do now? Like, everything I do, everything I draw, everything I create is just not there. You know, it feels wrong, it doesn't feel right. And I'll explain to you why I think that happens, but I just have to say that what you're feeling is very normal. This happens to all of us. I'm sure all of us have this moment in life. Some of us, when you work professionally as an artist, you can't really use that. That's not an excuse for people. You have to be able to bring everything to the table. And it's hard because you can't always do that, but you have to push through, which is another point I'll talk about a little bit later. But I want to say that sometimes you're just overworked. You're just doing too much work. You're constantly grinding, and you're just at a point where you can't do it anymore. You have to take a break. And you can take a break in many good ways or many bad ways. Depends how you want to look at it. Some of you may look at maybe playing video games in the between as a bad thing, and for others it may be something that brings you great joy and even inspiration. Maybe playing your favorite game will help you draw the next thing. In my case, that's not what happens, but I'll talk about that. But I think the big reason why a lot of us get burnt out, and why a lot of us have to take this break or get this art block, it's just because we're not doing enough outside of art. We're not focusing on our lives outside of the art. We're just constantly pushing in one direction, and I think art requires a lot of different things in our lives for it to work well. I think it requires for us to be healthy. I think it requires for us to eat well. I think it requires for us to see a lot of things and to observe as much as we possibly can. And I think if you're not doing any of that and you're lacking that, your body begins to just not produce these ideas. Your mind is fogged up, and you have nothing that you can think of at the moment. And I would say diet is a big part of this. Personally, I've noticed myself, and I'm not going to do any preaching here, but this is just something I found myself, is if I eat a lot of sugary foods or a lot of, let's say, floury foods, well, a lot of flour, so bread, pasta, anything like that, I'll feel very lethargic afterwards, and I wouldn't want to do anything but lay on the couch. And this is normal. This is our body digesting it, and it's a massive sugar spike happening in our body. From what I've researched, I'm not a professional scientist or anything here, so whatever I'm saying here is just from what I've researched. It's just our blood sugar going incredibly high and then dipping. That's why you get a thing called a sugar crash. It just leaves you completely empty of any energy. So that's why I try to do things like intermittent fasting, or trying to not eat any carbohydrates or any sugars before doing some work. And it may sound trivial, but it's what works for me. I feel like my brain is a lot clearer when I do that. I feel like I can think a lot better, and I can think a lot more. I don't get overwhelmed with things as easily. And maybe this is something that you could try. It's a simple thing, your diet, but it has an incredible effect on your entire body, as we all know. So why wouldn't it have an effect on your mind? So I don't want to get preachy or anything here, but that's just what I've experienced. And I know that if I try to draw after eating a hearty bowl of pasta, it's not gonna be the greatest stuff, and I'm not gonna want to do it that much. So that's important. And I also think taking good breaks by doing things like exercise, reading books, exploring media that you haven't explored. For me, I found it's great to watch some older animes or something like that. They've really inspired me and brought a lot of ideas to my art. And that's a medium I haven't explored before. And obviously there's a healthy way to do that and an unhealthy way to do that. You could just continuously binge those and not do anything else. But I think if you do it in moderation, and if you take what you can from it as an artist, I think that's great. Personally, I found exercise is a great thing to do for your art. Absolutely fantastic thing to do. After a good run or a jog or anything like that, I will feel so clear, and I'll be able to I'll feel the need to draw after that, to be perfectly honest. After some exercise, I want to sit down and I want to create. I feel my brain working at its full potential, and it's awesome. And using exercise almost as a moment of meditation and as a moment to clear your mind and leave it for the work afterwards. I think it's very important, especially for us artists who tend to sit at a desk at very, very long times. And for other people like myself, I also have a 9-to-5 job and I sit at a desk all day. And, if I'm doing that all day and then coming home and sitting down all day as well, it's not great, and often that will have an impact on my art as well. So I want to put it out there that I think art block can be due to these things that I mentioned as well. I think if you're going to start doing those more, you will definitely start to improve and even want to work more. You won't even have to rely on motivation as much. I think it will just come naturally to you. As well as the last point that I was talking about, by exploring places, because doing that, you're getting more ammunition for your art, you're getting more inspiration, you're getting more views out there of things that you could potentially add into your worlds, So all of this stuff is just, it may sound small and trivial, but it is a major factor in all of this. And I think it's very important that we pay attention to them and that we always keep them in mind and try and develop a healthy schedule and a way to implement them during our weeks and days. And it's not easy, I'm not perfect with it. I've been slacking pretty much recently, but I felt that effect from slacking. I felt that it's a bit harder to sit down and draw sometimes because of it. Now, let's go and talk about the main topic, which is the title of this video. Should you wait it out, or should you push through it? Now, I'm going to start this point by talking about something that I've mentioned a couple times on the channel. And that is the fact that I believe that burnout/art block is a point you get to when you're just about to become a much better artist. And when you're just about to notice that you've become a lot better at what you do. And that is a hard breaking point. It is hard to push through that. And that's why it sucks so much. But you have to put it into your head that whenever you are at art block, you're on the border of feeling so free and feeling like you've just become such a better artist. Like you're right there, but you need that final step or couple of steps to get there. If you think about it like that, If you have that mindset instead of, I can't draw anything, nothing's working. But if you change that to, I'm about to be a much better artist, I just need to find this one thing that's going to break through. And you can break through in multiple ways, which I'll talk about. But I'm a firm believer, and that's what art block is. It's just the point before you're about to become a much better artist. So, that's why this time is vital. And that's why you should take this time to focus on things like fundamentals, to focus on honing in your skills, drawing a bunch of faces, bunch of hands, eyes, anything that you feel like could improve in your art. You just do that work and you push through it. I think you should push through art block, and I don't think you should leave it. Of course, if you're completely exhausted from life and everything beating down on you at the same time, take a break. Please, just do something that you enjoy and relax. Be with people you enjoy and relax, because you also need that. That's what I was talking about earlier with the experiences. If you're just beat down, take a break. And when you come back, I'm sure you will feel much better, as long as you keep in mind that you should stay observant when you're on a break. If you're playing a game, have a look at how light bounces off someone, you know? Have a look at how shadows are created, how the form of the body is on the game. Pay attention to all of that stuff, because you will actually, even if you don't draw during this break, you will come back a better artist. But I believe you'll be a much better artist if you just keep going, but you take the time to leave your imagination away, leave those big pieces that you want to do away, and focus on your schooling and learning more. This is a fantastic time to either invest or find any courses that you can and just learn something else. Even if it's learning someone else's workflow, do it, because that is going to help you push through that barrier that I was talking about earlier. That is going to be the breaking point. And when you do those courses and when you learn, or when you pick up that book or something and you learn something new, that's when you break the barrier. And I'm a very big believer in that, because it's just what works for me. It may not be the same for you, but I believe if you really put your mind to it, it will be the same for everyone. There's a lot of people that just tell you to stop and relax, which, like I said, if life is really taking a beating on you, then please do. Don't run yourself to the ground, you know. We're all humans. We do need to take a break sometimes. But if you want to keep going, if you want to see improvement fast, just push through it, man. Just take those steps that I was talking. Try and find a course, anything. You can get some pretty good cheap courses out there as well. Checking things like Domestika, checking things like Proco, maybe finding your favorite artists. Even on YouTube, you can go to people like Mark Brunet. He has so many lessons for free on YouTube that you can just watch and learn. These are fantastic places to use exactly at this point. And make sure you keep practicing. Try and draw daily. Try and put in that time, and I'm sure you'll get past your art block very, very quickly. It will feel like nothing if you keep going, but do it in a smart way. Don't keep pushing through your personal projects if you feel burnt out. Use this time to learn, and I think that is the absolute best thing that you can do. Think of this moment as training before a massive fight. Imagine you're like, you know, Logan Paul and KSI. You're all just ready to go. You're about to do a YouTuber boxing match. And you need the training. And this is your time to train for that big fight. And when you train, that big fight is going to be so much easier. So, art block and burnout. It's a time where you should just learn. That's the biggest takeaway. Burnout is a time where you can sit down and work on those fundamentals and just get much better. I think the reason why I started doing the fundamentals days was I was feeling a really long burnout from art. And I finally decided to do something about it. And suddenly the burnout went away so quickly. So quickly. And it's something I really love doing. It's something I do on the channel, mainly for myself. But I'm also very glad that people join along and get something out of it, because I've found a great passion for teaching by doing these things. So, I'm gonna wrap up this video here. I think I've said everything that I've written down here for myself, all the points. And just, take it easy, but learn. No one's rushing you. As long as you're not in a job and you need to be doing stuff, which that in itself is a different discussion. I think if you're working professionally as an artist, burnout is a thing that you have to deal with instantly, because you're almost like a cog in a machine when you're working for a company, like a big company especially. So there is no place for that. I don't know how they work fully, because I haven't been able to work in a massive company, but I feel like you just need to be on your A game most of the time, if not all the time. So remember what I said here. Take the time to learn and take your time with it. Don't be harsh on yourself, because this is a time where you're going to feel like your artwork sucks, but it really doesn't. It's just you breaking through. It's your mind is where you want to be as that artist, and where you will be when you take this step, and your ability isn't just there yet, and you just need to match those two up, and then it will be perfect. Trust me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you also enjoyed the drawing in the background. I can't wait to get this picture on my profile. So yeah, I do really hope you got something out of this, and I wish you all happy drawing, happy learning, and as little art burnout as physically possible. So take care, and I'll see you in the next one.